Welcome to the Win Make Give podcast. Chad Hyams here, Bob Stewart over there. Bob, how are you and your interesting new eyewear doing today?
I got new glasses, Chad.
Yes, because you have trouble seeing and you need to read better.
No, not exactly.
No, these are not the good-looking reading glasses. These are the goofy-looking smart glasses.
Yeah, these are meta glasses, Chad. In fact, shout out to some of my friends that contributed to my meta football league. It's we put in a decent amount of money in the beginning of the year. Let's just put it that way. It's not cheap. And I somehow eked out a second place finish in our fantasy football league, which was a big payout. The first place, Yosef, you should get a couple pairs of these glasses, but I was able to get one pair of these meta glasses, Chad. And so like literally an hour ago, they showed up at my house. I've been setting them up and I don't even know how I like them yet, other than they're on my face.
There you go. Okay, well, we're going to find out, folks, over a few podcast episodes, Bob's adventure with meta glasses. So make sure you stay tuned to hear some little updates. Maybe we'll start with an update every episode. Here's what we do know. We are all just proud of you, Bob, that you didn't just use it to buy another pair of shoes.
Yeah.
I'm sure your wife is as well. All
By
right,
the
Bob.
way, I did buy a pair of shoes too.
Oh, so close. Oh, so close. Bob, I did an unboxing video of some shoes that showed up for me yesterday with you in mind.
Really?
Yes.
Are they, I'm assuming they're running shoes.
No, they are not.
What?
They are dress sneakers.
Ooh.
I found a pair that I'm wearing right now. I can't get my foot that high for you to see. I'm wearing right now as I see if I want to keep them. I'm working on breaking them in a little.
You get them at Costco? Like you just take them back whenever you want? What do you mean see and get? You can buy shoes and return them if you don't like them? I never knew this was a thing.
I ordered them online from a company that as long as I don't wear them outside and they are not scuffed up from that, they are fully refundable. So I've been wearing them around the house.
Are you like, have you been like jogging in a circle in the room? Oh, no, these are dress ones. Sorry.
These are dress sneakers. So it's just a matter of, can I stand still and my feet don't hurt too much? All right, let's shift gears because audience, we know you want to know what's going on in the world of Bob and Chad, yet we are actually here. Well, I would say for you to bring you value, yet Bob and I have clearly stated time and time again, we are here for us to get lessons. And audience, if you join along and take something from these, God bless you for it. Bob, You need this lesson.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a lesson we have done before, yet when you've done 500 plus episodes, odds are we're going to repeat some topics. And it's been a long time since we touched this one. Yet this is one of my favorite tools that I use not as often as I should. So this episode's to remind me to use it, teach you how to better use it, and help our audience reconnect with the Eisenhower Matrix. Bob, you know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. It's going to be a refresher for me because unlike you who uses it occasionally, but not as often as they should, I use it very, very infrequently and need a full refresher.
Okay, so it is named for President Eisenhower.
Dwight D. Eisenhower.
Yes, Dwight D. Yes. As you guys are on that first name rapper style basis.
That's right.
Yeah. What he said was, what is important is seldom urgent, and what is urgent is seldom important. And he used this during the war to run the war and our country by doing the Matrix. I'm sure he didn't call it the Eisenhower Matrix, whatever he referred to it as then, the Matrix that he did every day to help him decide what truly mattered. And that's what we're going to talk about. This is
hold on real quick. Hold on.
Yeah,
Before we get into the Eisenhower Matrix, can I just say that like the amount of gumption it takes to decide I'm going to become president of the United States. I want to be the most powerful man in the entire world. I'll bet he did call it the Eisenhower Matrix.
Oh,
these men that become president have just an ultimate amount of ego, I think. Like, not in a bad way necessarily, right? But like, I bet he called it the Eisenhower Matrix. Anyway, moving on. Sorry.
And if he didn't, his chief of staff definitely did to give him credit for it. Okay.
That's right.
So look, folks, here's what we want you to hear about before we dive into the how-to, and then we'll go deeper, right? We're going to take this from a basic level to an advanced level. Yet before, Bob, have you ever been in a position where urgency hijacked everything?
Yeah.
I mean, right? Got to pick up the kids right now. Okay, maybe that, but everything stops, right? Or something feels urgent because some client asked for something right away and it immediately triggers every urgent thing in your brain that says, I must stop everything and deal with this. That is one of the top reasons we struggle with priorities in our life. That is what the Eisenhower Matrix is here to help us solve.
Yeah. I mean, urgency, it just, especially for me, I'm really bad. It hijacks my brain. Like if somebody's like, hey, real quick, I need it's almost like if you say to me real quick, somehow, some way, my brain just goes, what? That thing? It's like immediately I'm paying attention to that thing. And the reality is it's never really quick and it's never the thing I should be doing.
Right. And folks, here, I'll teach you something about Bob Stewart right now. If you text Bob Stewart and he does not answer you within 1 minute, your text does not exist.
Yeah, totally.
Right? If he does not answer you in 1 minute, and you have gotten that from the world of Ben Kinney, right? The urgency did not strike enough, or something was more urgent at the time that Bob has now completely ignored your message. You're going to have to do it again at some point in the future. Most people, Bob, especially in the industry we know a lot of people are listening from, which is sales. Okay. Most people get stuck reacting instead of deciding. The successful ones, we hear it again and again, always say the success is in doing the boring again and again and again. Yet most people say, well, I'm successful because, and it's a reactive nature that they live in. That will never get you to where you truly want to go. That will get you running around like a chicken with your head cut off, feeling like everything is busy and nothing is important.
If you don't decide what's important, Chad, your environment will figure it out for you. And it's very rarely that the things in your environment that are screaming, the notifications on your phone, the email that just landed, the urgent phone call from your past client, it's very unlikely that those things are what you should actually be focusing on to move the business forward. But if you don't decide what you should be focusing on, then those things will immediately fill the void in the gap. Always, every single time, all day long.
It's a great point, right? And decision fatigue reduces your quality of judgment as the day goes longer and longer and longer. You start at like 100% battery life like your cell phone does, and through the day, that number goes down and down and down. The more decisions.
Wait, was that a shot at my computer? Because earlier when we started, my computer died? No? Okay.
It was not a shot at your computer. That you should always keep plugged in at your desk, Bob, so that it never does that. Bob, what are some of those really common things to you that you find pull you off track, or maybe in the work you do with other leaders, you find often are pulling them off track?
I think the most common thing is like a request or a need from somebody that I've done or do business with, right?
Okay.
The client going, hey, this, I need this now. And look, on their side of in their world, maybe they ran the Eisenhower Matrix and they decided this is the most important thing and it's urgent and I need this thing taken care of. But unless I know what my most important thing is, then there's a high likelihood that other person's most important thing is going to become my most important thing when it's actually not. To me, that's the number one thing. It's like somebody who I have a relationship with, and I may have even, they may be a client of mine, needs the thing. I will tell you that very early in my career, I learned that most of those things aren't urgent.
Right.
We assign them this priority because they're our client and they could take their dollars and they could go somewhere else. But most of them aren't urgent. I think the first time I ever realized that, by the way, was like, one of my early mentors, my colleague, my partner, I guess, my business partner, Jonathan, would say, look, it's still going to be there tomorrow. I promise you it will still be there tomorrow. And what I learned is a lot of times people's urgent thing that they need the help with immediately tomorrow, they actually figured it out.
Amen.
So just other people's priorities would be like the number one thing that I see that will become this urgent thing that pulls you off track.
Okay. And the number one thing that I think are easy to do things, right? I think when you just get that
checklist,
hey, and you say, oh, this is just a checklist thing. This is like, this will take me 10 seconds, turns into 10 minutes. Yet those are the things that people come right off track because that feels urgent because, oh, I can just get it done. Let me get it out of the way, even though it's nowhere near urgent.
I think those ones are twice as powerful in pulling you off track, because not only does it seem like, oh, no big deal, there's also a sense of accomplishment when you do those things. It's a false sense of accomplishment in many ways, Chad, right? Because it's not the thing that I should have identified as the number one thing I should be doing, but there is some accomplishment in checking the list.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Bob, let's get to the Eisenhower Matrix and let's start at that low level. Someone who's like, guys, I don't even know what you're talking about. If I weren't in the car, I'd be Googling Eisenhower Matrix while you're talking. Folks, it's a 2x2 grid, right? I mean, I can see Bob drawing it on the paper in front of him right now because I can see he just drew one long straight line. Just draw a big box and put an X through the middle of it or the plus sign through the middle of it. You're going to have 2 up top, 2 on the bottom on this box in a 2x2 grid, right? You've heard Bob and I use words already like urgent, important, because what we want you to do is we want you to, across the top, you're going to write the word urgent. Across the bottom, you're going to write the word not urgent. You with me so far, Bob?
Yeah.
All right. On the left side of this grid, I want you to write the word important. On the right side, outside of the grid, write the word not important. Now you can go quadrant by quadrant. So Bob, you drew this. Audience, you've either drawn it in your head or you're drawing along. The top left quadrant, which we will call quadrant 1, Bob.
Yep.
What words both qualify that quadrant?
Urgent and important.
Okay. Bob, let's go over to quadrant 2. I'm staying above the line. I just moved over. What does quadrant 2 equal now?
Urgent, but not important.
Okay. Bob, let's go down to what I'm going to refer to as quadrant 3, bottom left corner. What do we get there?
We get not urgent, but important.
Okay. And then the bottom right corner, we are left with?
Not urgent, not important.
There you go. Okay, so folks, you have your grid. Some people will put important across the top, urgent down the sides. I like to have urgent across the top, important down the side. Now, Bob, what we do is we sit down every day and we fill this in. Give me something that's got to be done by Bob Stewart either today or you're already thinking ahead to tomorrow or heck, later in the week or this weekend. Give me something that comes to mind that you have to do.
I have to create a presentation for next Friday. I'm hosting an event, or I'm a party to an event where I give like an hour-long presentation, and it's one I haven't done before, so I've got to spend some time kind of building the presentation.
Bob, which square does that go in? Is it important that you do this?
So like if I was thinking from today, I would call this not urgent, but important.
Okay, I would agree. Right? That would be not urgent, yet important. Bob, give me something else that's going on in your world now, soon, whatever.
We have an interview tomorrow that I have to prepare for.
Okay. Is it an important interview?
Yeah, it's important.
Is it urgent that you
I
get
got to prepare for it between now and 10 o'clock tomorrow. So yeah, there's some urgency to it.
Yeah, under 24 hours, folks, it's urgent, right? If there's a deadline that's under 24 hours, we're going to call it urgent. Urgent and important things are crisis. Deadlines under 24 hours.
Mine would have fallen under deadline, right? I have a deadline. Like there's a definitive time I got to have that thing done by.
And it's soon. Because if you heard the first thing Bob said, also had a deadline, that presentation. Yet, Bob, you have a week and a half is what you gave us for when that one's due. It's not urgent yet.
Yeah.
Right? It's important. Okay. Things that fall into important, yet not urgent, are going to be things like planning, things like your relationship with your wife and your kids, Bob, your health, your personal growth. Things that are urgent, yet not important, are interruptions, those unnecessary meetings that are about to happen. They might be urgent that they're going to happen, yet they're not important. And those other people's priorities that you mentioned earlier to me. And then, of course, not urgent and not important. Bob, these is anything that wastes your time. Like playing with your Meta glasses. Okay. Figure these out as you're doing this. Now, where do most people live? They live in the wrong space because they live in urgent,
not important.
Not important.
Yeah.
Right? We live in, oh, that's got to be done. Oh, that's got to be done. Oh, that's got to be done. Yet if you didn't do it, it really isn't that important. How many meetings have you been to that really weren't important, but the meeting was in 10 minutes, so you had it and it was urgent?
Yeah. I've gotten better at this over the years. I get invited in our organization to a lot of things, and I'm almost like I'm not purposely using this Eisenhower Matrix to decide when but there is very much this is at play. Like I had a meeting this morning that, like, in a perfect world with nothing else to do, I would have attended it, but it's not really my lane. It was more for kind of informational. I wanted to add some opinion potentially, but I trust the person that was actually, it was important for. And so I was like, you know what, this is urgent because it's happening at 9 a.m., but it's actually not that important for me. I feel safe with Amy taking that thing and running with it. So I don't know, like, again, I didn't use this matrix to make that decision, but I think maybe in the background I was running that, that methodology.
Yeah. When people live in the urgent, important quadrant, Bob, they hit burnout because they're always stressed. They believe everything is urgent and everything is important. And they end up stressing themselves out and they end up burning out because everything feels important because it's late. Everything's got a due date that's like real soon. I've got to take care of everything. That's where most people will burn out. The secret place that catches people is urgent, not important, like you just said. That's when I feel productive without actually doing anything. That's when I'm doing other people's priorities. That's Bob Stewart. You might recognize this one. Saying yes to everything because it feels urgent, yet it's not important.
I think so. If there's some traps up there, right? Like,
yep.
Urgent important. That's because I just assign importance to everything, and I don't have any way to filter through what is and what isn't important. There's also urgent, like I over prioritize, like, or I don't know. I let other people's priorities become mine, and so everything's urgent. It's urgent, right, and it's important. Again, burnout, right? Then I get to it's urgent. It's not actually important, but I would suggest that when you live in the urgent, not important category, you're lying to yourself. You're saying, well, this is important. I got to do this thing on my checklist. I got to do this thing on my checklist. When the reality is it's not actually important, but you may be assigning some importance to it that you probably shouldn't be. The place we want to act. Oh, by the way, the bottom right quadrant, not urgent, not important. Don't do that shit.
Never do that crap.
Don't do it. Or get a virtual professional to do it, or get leverage to do that stuff. Because look, I think ultimately, I got to clean my office up at some point here, Chad. Right? Like, it's not urgent, it's not really important right now. It will become eventually, and so I do need to get. And
that's a great point, Bob. Right now, it's not urgent, not important. Leave it the heck alone. When mold starts growing on that sandwich that's sitting on your desk, it might become a little more important or a lot more urgent.
Hold on. I'm talking like I've got 10 extra baseball cards on my desk, not a moldy sandwich. Okay. But where a lot of us never live, but we should, is that kind of magical bucket of not urgent, but it's important.
Yes.
And I think there's so much, like, what are some of the things, Chad, that might live in that quadrant?
Well, we gave the list and we'll run it right. Your planning, your strategy, your health, your fitness, your family, the relationships. That's when we're getting into the quadrant that really matters. That's putting us in important, not urgent.
And here's what happens. Because it's not urgent, we don't ever get to it. Because we're doing a bunch of things that are somebody else's urgent and important, but not ours, right? Or we're just constantly checking things off a list. We're never slowing down enough to say, you know what? Even though this isn't urgent, it's really important and I gotta get to it. And so what are some—
Bob, have you ever felt, let me just put it into your real world. Have you ever felt a time where you better take your wife on a date because your marriage is like in trouble because it's been so long since you've done it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
it became urgent and important. But Bob, if you had spent time in important, not urgent on your marriage,
sure,
it never would have gotten into the urgent important. Our goal should never to have anything in urgent important. That means we didn't work on it enough in important, not urgent, that forced it to move into that category. Lead generation for salespeople.
Yeah.
It's not urgent and important, folks. It's important, not urgent, until you don't do it.
Yeah, and you don't have a paycheck, and now you're like, I got to do it. That's all I can do now because I got to go find that next deal. Totally agree. Skill development is one. I see this all the time. We have this new thing. We have this AI call coach in our world, and the sales professionals in our organizations can choose to use this thing or not, right? So developing the skills that are going to help you sell more. Let's just call it that, right? Not urgent, massively important. I could make a call tomorrow, Chad, not being the same salesperson I was today, and I'm going to get some result. I could skill up. Here's something interesting. We have this AI call coach, right? And people do practice calls on this thing, and they talk to an AI and they hear the objections they're going to hear when they're out on the phone with real potential clients. And after just 50 call practice sessions, it's improving people's ability to close by about 10%. To me, that's a lot. This year, if I could add 10% of revenue to my business, like a lot of us would be like, yeah, and all I got to do is make 50 practice sessions, which is going to take me probably 2 hours or 3 hours. I think if we all knew it was a fact, we would probably find a way to make it urgent, right? I urgently need to be better at my job. So and this is important. Let me go do that. Let me go get to my 50. But when we don't, I don't know, when we don't create, you have to almost create some urgency around these things, I think. And maybe that's just my brain, Chad, because my brain tends to want to work on the things that I consider to be urgent and important, right? Yes. But if I know there's these things that are important, but I'm like, they're not urgent, then generally a lot of us will never get to those things. We'll always think I need to, I'm going to plan to do that. I'm going to get away for 24 hours with nobody around, and that's what I'm going to work on. It never happens. Though.
Okay. And Stephen Covey said, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities, right? So Bob, if that's skill development and calling that coach, right? That practice AI that you have, if relationship building with your kids, with your wife in your situation, if your health and fitness, if these are priorities to you, you need to schedule your priorities because they are important. And our goal is not to ever let them get to urgent because I let my health go. I let my skills deteriorate. I let my relationships, the important ones, fall apart because now they're urgent and now they take over everything, and I can't do everything that I need to get done.
I'll give you credit for, like, let's go back to my example. I've got that presentation next Friday, which today as we record is a Wednesday. So I've got about 10 days, 9 days.
So you're warning me that next Wednesday you won't be here when you say, I got to finish this presentation.
No, next Thursday I won't be there because I'll be on an airplane, but Wednesday I will be there. But so this Friday, I have a 2-hour block at the, from noon to 2 on my calendar to go knock that presentation out, dial it in, practice it. I didn't want to get to next week where all of a sudden it's this urgent, important thing and maybe something else more important comes up. And I'm like, well, I can't do that because I didn't do any work in the not urgent, important category. So I have to schedule that stuff. Because I am the type of brain that it would have got done Thursday night or Thursday on my flight down or whatever. And
absolutely. Think about how many times, folks, when you were in school, you were up the night before the exam studying or doing the science fair project or whatever it was. If that was you, you were the person that waited until it became urgent and important instead of just dealing with it when it was important. So it never reached urgent. People who schedule the important work, Bob, are 2 to 3 times more likely to follow through. So schedule the stuff that we're talking about that's in urgent or in important, so it never makes urgent and important. So, Bob, let's talk about how you should do this, right? Step 1, do a brain dump every week. Pick a day that you're going to do this every week and do a brain dump. List everything you are responsible for that's coming up that you can see. That might even be a vacation 3 months away. Then once you have everything, put it in its quadrants and be honest. Is it urgent, important? Is it urgent, not important? Is it important, not urgent? Or is it not urgent and not important? Okay? Do the things in urgent, important right away, Bob. Right away. Your goal should be to have that clear. Nothing should sit in urgent, important. Get it done. Schedule on purpose things that are important, not urgent. Schedule that date with your partner. Schedule that time with your kids. Schedule that time in the gym. Schedule that time to work on the presentation, whatever it is. So those things never make it up to urgent. Folks, if you're about to retire and you don't know where all your money is, urgent, important. What does Bob do regularly? He's doing the wealth lessons that we have with his net worth tracker on a regular basis. He talks to us about. He keeps that in important. It never makes it to urgent because he's always getting it done when it needs to be done. Things that are now showing up in the not important, urgent category, go delegate them or decline them altogether. How many times have we heard Ben says every week he gets rid of half of his appointments, right? He cancels half his meetings. Folks, don't take that personally. You just were in that quadrant. He was like, oh, well, it's not that important. It just feels urgent. And then, of course, anything that makes the not urgent, not important quadrant, Bob, what should we do with that?
Stop.
Yeah, that's it.
Eliminate.
Don't. Okay. Folks, you'll find yourself making the change to your business. Bob.
And again, as just a reminder, if quadrant 2, it's not urgent, but it's important, put it on your calendar.
That's it. And if you don't know how to build a calendar, holy mackerel, have we covered that multiple times. And I'm always happy to get onto that topic. See, folks, I'm looking at Bob right now because we see each other. He's locked on staring at the screen in a way. I'm wondering what his meta glasses are telling him.
They're whispering in my ear.
They're telling Bob what to say next as we have this conversation. Folks, here's what we want you to do. Do the Eisenhower Matrix. I challenge every one of you when you get somewhere not behind the wheel of a car today, whenever you're hearing this, go brain dump everything you can think of that needs to get done. Gas station, gas in the car, picking up kids if you have, date with the partner, whatever, lead generate for salespeople, whatever it is, write it all down. Go away from that list for a few minutes. Go do something else. Come back, build the Eisenhower Matrix, fill everything in, and schedule everything that made the important not urgent, and get everything done that's listed in important urgent.
Here, let me. I was on with Ben on Monday, and he was talking to a group of leaders, and I'll give you maybe one small tweak to what you just suggested, Chad, in that urgent, not important bucket. Because if you guys, especially this time of year, it's like the beginning of the year, we're looking at our business. How are we going to grow it? I would challenge you to this month, go do one of those urgent, not urgent, important things. Because if you look at this from your business, you're like, well, we got to fix this process, and there's this thing, and I'm trying to recruit agents, and I've got 10. Many of you will likely have a number of these important but not urgent things. And so I would, like Chad said, get them all done, get them scheduled, at the very least, decide you're gonna take care of one of these things. Maybe a week, Chad, or maybe a month. I don't know how big their challenges are, right? But just take the time to schedule one. And then on that quadrant 4, right, just eliminate at least one. Like, yeah, in a perfect world, get rid of them all. But at the very least this week, get rid of one of those things and schedule one of your important things. Like, let's baby step into this. I know Chad's a pretty scheduled guy. I'm not. So I'm going to bring it back to what I think maybe is like attainable for some of us.
It's a great point, Bob. It's a great point, right? One of my wife's favorite things, Nita loves the movie What About Bob, which has nothing to do with you. Yet she loves the movie What About Bob? And if you've seen it, he's always doing the baby steps, right? I'm baby stepping it. I'm baby stepping out of the elevator. I'm baby stepping into the hall. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, put What About Bob on your list. Bob, our Bob here, is absolutely right. Baby step it. You don't have to jump completely in with both feet in this pool. Yet if you can get on that first step and just start to feel the water on your feet, you can work deeper and deeper until the Eisenhower Matrix can help you lead a business, because it helped President Eisenhower lead a country through a war. We know it can work for you. Until our next episode, gang, as always, do good.